Conference Centre at Stoke-on-Trent. We are pleased to announce that we will be joined by Dr. Ghazala Hassan Qadri, President of Minhaj Women League UK, who will be our special guest for 3 days. Join us for an inspirational and fun-packed weekend. To find out more, please visit our website www.aldaskia.com.
Moving to the UK can be rather overwhelming, but moving your money doesn't have to be. With HSBC Global Money, you can convert, send, or spend multiple currencies around the world whenever you want with no HSBC fees. So you'll be right as rain, as they say in the UK. Search HSBC Global Money, HSBC UK, opening up a world of opportunity. Available to HSBC UK customers with an eligible current account and the mobile banking app. Non-HSBC fees may apply.
Revive FM
94.0 on the radio,
on your mobile,
and online.
Hello and welcome to Revive Radio 94.0 FM. Today we are speaking to Friends of Queen's Market again. Okay, so can you all introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Pauline, a shopper at Queen's Market and secretary of Friends of Queen's Market too.
I'm Stan. I'm from East Ham. I'm a shopper at the market.
My name is Sant, long-time resident of Newham and a long-time supporter of all our markets, but sadly one's left and we need to protect that one. So, and a big supporter of Queen's Market and its preservation.
Hello, I'm Andrew. I'm a shopper at Queen's Market and a supporter of Friends of Queen's Market.
Right, and we're also going to be speaking to Imran after the break. Today's episode is going to be focused on the Good Growth Fund. So let's get started. Let's start with a bit of the history of Queen's Market. Like how I know you guys is, I'm obviously making a film and you guys have been working to protect the market for about 20 years now. And there's a new proposal. You've fought off people like said Modwins before in the past. And, you know, there's been some consultations on changing the market, developing the market and the Good Growth Fund. Now, let's get started. Pauline, can you introduce us to the market and Friends?
Yes, the market attracts a terrific range of customers. It has a massive amount of culturally appropriate goods and really good value food. And Friends of Queen's Market, we're a very mixed bag, just like the people who shop at the market, you know, mixed in terms of ethnicity, age, social background, health. And we campaign for the market, like you explained, Khadija. We campaign all the time for improvements. We did manage to see off developers in 2010, and now there's another idea of putting luxury flats on the market site. But also, we've always been campaigning for improvements to the market. So I think that's enough about us.
The market is such like, it's on Green Street, it's on like a bustling high street and all around the UK, like high streets are really struggling. Like they're shutting down, shops are closing down. But when you go to Green Street, I've been filming there all month. It is always busy. Like people come far and wide to shop there and the market really does like improve the traffic for the shops around, right? So when you found out about the Good Growth Fund, what were your first thoughts?
Well, where you go?
Would you like to say that? Well, the Good Growth, you know, from our perspective, was going to provide some sort of equity for the traders, was going to provide some sort of security for the traders, and it was going to be an investment in the community. It was going to be investment in the market itself, and that meant improvements in all aspects of it, and that's what it was supposed to do, but it hasn't fulfilled its role. So good growth, although the intentions of good growth and what it termed is, it's good, but it's not fulfilling it because we haven't got any further with actually improving the market as it should do. So the good growth is a good thing, but it's not implemented in the right sort of way, I'm afraid.
What does it mean?
Well, it just means that we're lacking the services that we need to be having. We're lacking access to people that need to be using the market. We're lacking, the environment for traders to work in a very safe environment, and that's what we're lacking. And that's through lack of investment, through the good growth. I'm afraid that is what is going on. So that's what it means at the present moment for the Queen's market, and there's a lot more that could be done with it.
So you guys are busy fighting to protect the market despite £7.3 million being allocated for the space, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, this grant, this good growth, it's a flashy name for the money that was given. Yes, over to...
It's the good growth money, the 7.3 million, it's not all on the market. That's, you got to watch out for that. 2.5 million is on the market, but then there's money allocated for Queen's Square, which is next to the market. And then there's other money, and I can't tell you what this is, Green Street Workspace, 2.5 million. I don't know what that's going to be spent on. And then there's more money, 1.3 million, on creative wellbeing space, and I can't tell you what that is either.
Very vague language. And I've heard as well that the green workspace has already been shelved to protect Stratford Village, which they saved.
Well, that's a good thing, but I want to know, okay, that was about £700,000 to save the Stratford Village market. That's a good thing, but is that money going to be replaced for Queen's market?
Exactly. And from what I know about Stratford Village, it's amazing that they were able to save it, but the lease is not going to last that long, right?
Well, the thing is, they leased it for 15 years. The council took on a lease for 15 years, but yet the 700K is really to cover 1 year of economic movement, within the administration side. That's all it's there to cover. So they've got a get out clause. Now, the crazy thing is they closed the market down while they were discussing what to do, and they reckon about 60% of the traders left. So how do they recuperate their money and incentivize them to come back? That is the problem we have. So people aren't going back, and that is something that we need to bear in mind, that when we do something to the markets or any sort of market, people will leave, and then they're not just going to come back like like birds. They're not going to come back there because they will not be able to financially afford to come back. And not only that, they would have no trust or faith in the administration to be able to keep them there and give them what they need to function and thrive. That is a problem. And that is actually a small microcosm of what could happen anywhere and everywhere. If you close the market down for any length of time, you lose your traders. And that is a problem.
It would be a big shame. Andrew?
I was just going to come back on what Stan was saying. This 1.3 million on creative wellbeing space, whatever the heck that might mean. But although nothing has been built, already 449, over 449, 669 has already been spent. And this is a pattern that we are seeing, that there's big sums of money and being spent, and we can't see anything for it. And the money, but also even when the money is being spent on something physical that people can see, the what people can, the effect of it is very underpowered. And later on we'll be talking about the lighting, because a lot of money has supposedly been spent on lighting, and yet we are quite clear, as are the traders, that the lighting is actually worse than before the new lights were put in. And this is a pattern that seems to go along with how Newham spends money. And there's very poor accountability about, the Greater London Authority has given Newham Council this money, but neither they nor the council, they're very poor about saying, providing accountability about how the money is being spent and what it's being spent on.
Yeah, just to add to that, the council has a problem in implementing transparency. It has a problem in implementing accountability, responsibility. Nobody knows where to go. So you end up having to go through freedom of information to find what you need to find. And even that is not clear. So money comes in, but we never know where it goes. So, if you're going to deal with the market, and if our local governance is a democracy, they need to be working with the people. That's what these terms co-create was invented, co-production. So
it's supposed to be a collaboration.
It's a collaboration.
And a lot of money has gone towards consultants. Do you feel like the consultants are enmeshed with you or the traders or the people?
No, absolutely not. No, there hasn't been engagement with the people. They actually had a series of seminars with the traders, meetings week after week. But they didn't discuss the nuts and bolts of the improvements at all. It was Jadon architects, very young, enthusiastic architects running the project, but they didn't even know about the nuts and bolts of lighting and flooring. And they ended up with a sort of big jamboree called a seat at the table, which was fun, but it didn't give anybody a chance to input on how these developments should be. These improvements should be done.
And who defines improvements? Because as you can see, they proposed 4 different ideas. And Andrew, you touched on this, the creative wellbeing space, which it sounds brilliant, like in theory, but what do you actually think about it?
Well, it's hard to say, isn't it? Because who knows what the heck it is. Well-being is a sort of current buzzword for health, like all-round physical and mental health. I know that much because I used to be in social work. But, we don't know, and I don't think, well, who the heck knows what it is, aside from this person who dreamed up the phrase, and it seems to me that the more vague something is, the more money is going to be thrown at it. Whereas the concrete things that ourselves and the traders have been talking about for years, and that the council said they were going to deliver, like better lighting, better flooring, proper cleaning, all these.
The roof leaks, and it's been leaking for years. The council should do the basics first.
Exactly.
The council before the fun.
A few years back, the council managed to spend £1 million on a new roof, and it still leaks. And that, I think, tells you all you need to know about
several places.
All you need to know about how Newham manages things. It's good.
The thing is, Newham has a culture of adopting basket loads of consultants, at a cost of millions. The Dockland master plan, it cost $1 million in consultants. We've had other consultants. We are the biggest consumers of consultants. Newham is in it. We use a lot of consultants.
That's really interesting, because you'd think that if we are the biggest consumers, that they'd have the best relationship.
You would think so. You would think so.
I think there's really a problem too with expenditure on the market, because the market is a Cinderella. I mean, they treat the market in a way that they wouldn't treat their town hall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the drains. I mean, some of the puddles on the floor aren't from the roof; they're from the drains. And I don't think it looks as if the drains aren't regularly cleaned and maintained. That's one of the things I've heard said anyway. And this is just a pattern we've seen. We've had to fight for everything. We've got toilets now, but there was a massive problem with the toilets before. They were always not working, broken out of order, and plain disgusting when Veolia was managing them.
And it took 20 years.
20 years.
Yes, but
21
like
years.
second-class citizens, they.
It seems to me, and that's just my opinion, that the market there's a sort of a managed decline to it, and it's done slowly, so that it slips into this sort of undercurrent of decline that nobody can challenge it and they accept it. That's what I see that's been happening over 20 years. And as much fight as people put up from grassroots, the push seems to be from the top. And our council, I'm sorry to say, is leading that sort of barrier of communication, discommunication, I believe. They're not communicating when they need to, they're not discussing things, and there's no accountability. So that's what I think is going on with this market, like all other markets, like all other areas. That terminology, managed decline, it's appropriate to that market now. And if we don't deal with it, that'll be irreversible.
It seems like two sides of the fence have a very different idea of what levelling up actually means.
Well, there isn't any levelling up. I think if there was levelling up, we would have seen it by now. Other areas around London, because remember, what is levelling up about? It's levelling up is providing infrastructure. It's for the young, for the old, whatever it needs for that area to create growth. Growth is a main point. If you don't have, how do you create growth? Growth was to reach that point, you needed to have levelling up, to have grants, to have the good growth. These are all bite-sized words. At the end of the day, these things are there, and they need to create infrastructure. And infrastructure means repairing what's there, fixing it, making it better, making it accessible for the disabled, for everybody, and improving the well-being of an area of a market so it can produce growth.
I like what you said there, especially about like including disabled people, elderly people, all the different people that shop at the market. And it's really a question of what does good growth mean? And like individually, what would you like to see happen? And if you had the control, like what would good growth mean to you? Like how would you improve the space?
Yes, good growth to me would first of all mean respecting the customers, because the customers come anyway, respecting the customers and respecting the traders. So ask them what they want, first of all. Ask what would make it a good environment. And particularly when the works are carried out, carry them out really sensitively with minimum disruption to the market. Because the poor traders, they've been moved around, squashed up. It really isn't fair. And growth would mean growth to the market. It would mean welcoming people, new stall holders. Instead, they're really given the runaround. Sometimes they're told, we're not taking on new traders.
And it's empty stalls.
Yeah, empty spaces.
I mean, one example that could immediately improve the market, and the traders, shoppers have been saying this for years, there's no lift to the car parking.
No.
If you're an older person, if you're a mum or a dad with a child in a buggy, or you've got any kind of disability, even if you haven't got a disability, I'd challenge somebody to walk up those steps with 3 or 4 heavy bags full of shopping. Now, if the council really cared about the market, the customers, the traders, why haven't we got a lift?
It makes sense. It's common sense. I mean, as someone who's been carrying my camera equipment up and down, it's long, it's hard. And what I see of the type of people that shop in the market, it is mainly families. It's a lot of older people. It's all the kind of people that could really do with an inclusive levelling up. And maybe not, from what I did the research when I was looking at the creative wellbeing plans, they've got some cool stuff about libraries and artistic studios. But I think, as Stanya said before that, we should probably get to the crux of the issue as well.
Get the basics right first. Things like lighting. We've been promised a new floor for years. There's nothing. Pigeons are always in the market. There's pigeon waste everywhere. Get the basics right first.
Andrew?
I'm just concerned that the reason we're fighting for the market is because it is very vital resource for the community, and there's lots of good things about it. I don't want people to feel, although we're rightly being negative about how the council's treating it, there's lots of good things about the market, and we want those to be improved and built on. Yeah. So, the market provides a wide variety of cheap food so people can shop around for stuff that's both cheap and good quality. That's really important. You're not going to get that if we just end up having supermarkets. it also is a very important community and cultural space. So it's a place where people go and they can, you know, a lot of these people, because they're mostly, some of them are, you know, women who are mostly doing childcare and housework and all that. It's probably one of the few times they get out of the house, they can meet other people. So that's really important, that sort of community. And the same for older people as well. You know, as people get older, as someone who's, you know, the wrong side of 60 myself, as you get older, you don't get out so much and it's harder to meet people, you lose friends, all those things. So a market such as Queen's Market is really important space where people can go out and mix with other people, meet different people,
Absolutely.
chat, do their shopping, have a coffee. And that is incredibly important for people. COVID showed us how being able to get out and meet other people is so important to most of us, you know, and if you don't get those things, or if those things really diminish, it really mashes you up. You know, I think most of us saw that as a result of COVID.
Sam?
Well, if we just go back to the COVID, just there, on post-COVID recovery, the market was the first thing that picked up any business down the high street. Doesn't matter what anybody's, any business that's all the major high streets, Queen's Market picked up first. Post-COVID, they did not price gouge through the COVID, after the COVID. While all the corporations did, the market didn't. It still provided a pound a bowl. It still gave you your vegetables at a cheaper price. It gave you your vitamins, your minerals, whatever you needed, and your meats. And people kept it going, even though they had to fight, you know, sort of the threat of closure, right, because of it and restrictions. But they kept it going. Now, they worked through that, but they never had they never had the advantage as a corporation does. And if we talk about the access to it, like car park, we have a wonderful car park that very few people are aware of. It's very poorly signed up. To get in there, you have to use the internet to actually access the parking, one of these apps. Now, I've tried to use it, and I find that internet doesn't connect. It doesn't connect, and I've had a ticket myself.
It's a bit tricky as well.
It's
have
very
to
tricky.
Use an app to just park your car it's quite a high barrier to
But what
entry.
about the elderly who...
You would think as well, with all the research that has been done with the Good Growth Fund, that these are the issues that they would tackle first. So what's surprising about it is how all of the basics have gone on the back burner. And back to the creative well-being space, like the market isn't just about food, is it? Like it sells all kinds of things. I've seen so many women buying their textiles.
Fantastic.
And it's a shame that a partnership there couldn't have been created, because if we're talking about creative well-being, the type of well-being that the people that shop at the market might be different to the type of well-being that has been proposed in the fund. From what I can tell, like speaking to all the designers and young people who use it to buy textiles and fashion and things like that, where there's ample space there to do some cool stuff, but if you're not talking to the people, it's never really going to happen, is it?
Well, the thing is, a market can only progress. It's a generational thing. So you've got to have children coming in there as well. They've got to know where the food's coming. They've got to know it's presented. It's not a sanitized version in a supermarket. They can touch, feel, nobody, you know, and it should be an area where they're safe, you know, and that's not been provided, you know, and the Good Growth is there to provide that for everybody. So, does anybody want to add to that?
Yeah. Well, there is a question about what is behind this Good Growth grant. And the council keeps saying there will always be a market, and they've when they put their ideas for luxury flats on the site forward, which is what they're thinking of at the moment, they assure us, no, but there'll still be a market, which we are very doubtful about. And there's one school of thought, which perhaps I'm not being kind to the council, but it could be said, or I could say, that the council just put down this money, or got the GLA to put down this money to say, hey, there, look, we do want to keep your market, so don't worry about luxury flats. We're going to spend all this money on the market. The market will be fine. The market will be there. So it was really put down as a bit of a stunt even. Now that's me being nasty. Maybe they were being kind and they really wanted to help the market, but they didn't know how to do it because they're not all very bright at the council.
Andrew?
I think, leaving aside whether it's nasty or not, I think it's just a practicality. The two options the council are offering at the moment are both about building lots on the market. I call them building more and building even more. So we went along to the consultations and I spoke to them and asked them if they could give me an instance of a market that has housing and different things built there, and the market still carries on and the market persists afterwards, and they couldn't. Well, neither can I, and I don't think anyone else can either, because it's a nonsense. And also some of these things, like a library, there's a library just up the road. You know, they're proposing a health centre which hasn't got any staff. I mean, I'm in favour of any number of libraries. That's great, but you know, don't stick it in the middle of a market, and don't stick it somewhere what's going to happen if it does go ahead? What is going to happen to the library on Green Street? It closes, so you haven't gained a library and you've lost space for the market. So that's just the sort of silliness that is going on. We are all for improvements, but these are not improvements. These are just, you know, people know what's happened to the other markets in Newham. They've disappeared. And we don't call having 4 stalls, new upmarket flats and 4 stalls a market. That's not a market. That's where a market was. And that, if we're not careful, that's what will happen to Queen's Market. We're determined that it won't happen.
Would you say that the language used within the Good Growth Fund can be quite confusing and alluding to different things?
Definitely. But it's also, well, like we're saying, you know, there's a definite need for more housing in Newham, but we need to look at where it's being built and who it's going to be built for, because I'm sure a lot of people know.
We need council housing.
Yeah, exactly. We need social housing.
Thousands of private flats being built, but people in Newham can't afford to rent them.
Yeah, look
at council housing, council rents.
Exactly. Look at what happened to the West Ham ground. Over 800 new flats, but only 39 of them are for social rent. Well, that is not helping all the thousands of people on the Newham waiting list. And, you know, that's the housing that we need to house, the proper housing, social housing in the right place. That's what's needed.
Yeah, social housing is a big issue. And I don't think anyone's against the building of more houses. I think people from Newham have the right to also just stay here and not be driven out as well. Like, I mean, Queen's Market is 129 years old. That's a really, really long cultural legacy that would be good to keep. And I think a lot of people want to have it kept.
Yes.
I mean, Canning Town Market was an absolute busy market. Rathbone Market, but it's Canning Town Market. Some people, but it's Rathbone Market. Rathbone Market was a busy, and I'll remember it as a child. But the thing is, that was run down as well. It went through the same processes, and it was handed over to a charity, and then it got lost in the works. It's normally done that way. It's a sort of sleight of hand. Now the thing is, 2 stalls, and that was meant to. They said that they will reinstate the market. They will come back. What happened was it ended up being a car park, and with high value flats around it. Now that doesn't mean development. There's no growth in that. There's no growth in that at all. There's no community growth in that. So there's no entrepreneurial growth in that. So I don't understand what they mean by growth. So if we're talking about good growth, it's set out in the document what it's supposed to do, but the interpretation by the council, our local authority, is totally different. And this is what they need to be put back on track, what good growth actually means and what it's supposed to service and how it's supposed to be done. This is why they're using the money for whatever means they're doing it, but they're not clarifying, not being clear with it, and they're not engaging.
And we've seen that, like, not just in Newham, all around London, really. I think
Yeah.
Elephant and Castle, they built on top of the market, and a lot of traders had to leave in the end,
Yeah.
as well as places like Brixton, East, North, South, West. It's an issue that's facing everywhere.
Ridley Road Market, Shepherd's
Road.
Bush Market, Romford Road Market. You know, how many markets have got to go under the, you know, the hammer, really, under the brick and shovel? How many of them got to go before we realise that we've gone too far?
And who suffers under this?
Who
It's
suffers?
traders, usually, that lose work, which is who we're going to get to speaking to now after the break.
Yeah.
I think it will be really interesting to chat to Imran, who is a trader at Queen's Market, who knows everyone, is going to give us a little bit more insight into some of the particular issues to do with lighting, pigeon netting.
Yeah.
And why a lot of the traders feel like not only if the market proposals are done that some of them might be pushed out, but also what's being done with the money using the Good Growth Fund as well.
Well, I think like I said before, Redbridge are very business friendly. They provide 45 minutes to an hour free parking, but none of our high streets get that. Even the car parks, we don't get it. And some traders, all customers want is an hour to go and do the shopping and go and go. We don't even get that. So our traders are not facilitated, they're not helped, and they're not encouraged. So they are actually paying high rents, rates, you name it. And what we can do, what we should be doing, is providing free parking for them, especially at the market.
Definitely. I mean, traders are the people that have kept the market going.
Well, they're the lifeline of a high street.
They're the lifeline of a lot of things.
A lot of things.
To affordable food,
Yeah.
affordable textiles, and also just like bargain and a bit of banter.
Well, remember, Newham sits on the high level of the decile of poverty. So, you know, we need to take that in consideration when we're providing cheap food and, you know, and the cost of living issues when we're talking about dealing with the market and its future.
And we have to remember that during COVID, they were the heroes.
Yeah.
Because especially before that injection came
Essential
out,
workers.
the market kept going, you know. And
Right,
we actually had Russian oligarch ladies coming down to the fish shop from the west, you know, buying whole salmon.
Whole salmon,
Yes.
£25.
Yeah, I think during COVID, everyone was a bit like isolated and alienated, and I think we all realised that we do like a chat.
Well, that's the basics of everything. It's just a chat and a slight little nudge, just to say sorry, just to make eye contact. That's very important. And that sits at the heart of every market. So I don't know. I think the market's got a future, and it's got a long future, and we've got to protect it whichever way we look at things. And not only that, we need to create more markets. Susan Masters, one of the councillors, stated that when it comes to Rathbone Street Market, that they were going to create another Rathbone Street Market somewhere else. I said the Rathbone Street Market was at Rathbone Street Market. You can't create another Rathbone somewhere else. It just doesn't work. So they're living in cloud cuckoo land, this dystopian world they live in, my councillors, and I love them very much, but, you know, they're challenging that love of mine.
Right. Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to speak to Imran.
In British homes, with numbers rising by over a third since 2009. Millions are making basic electric safety blunders without realizing the risks. With modern living, our homes are fitted with more electrical appliances than ever before. Stay safe, avoid overloading sockets, unplug when not in use, and never use damaged cords. Your safety matters. For further information, please visit us on www.electricalsafetyfirst.org.uk.
आप यूके में ताज़ा शिफ्ट हुए हैं? तो अब आप एक ऐसे बैंक का अकाउंट खोल सकते हैं जो आपकी बैनुल-अक़वामी ज़रूरियात का ख्याल रखे। HSBC यूके इस ज़िम्न में मदद के लिए हाथ बढ़ा रहा है। यूं आप अपने रोजमर्रा के अहम कामों, बिल्स की अदायगी, रेंट पर प्रॉपर्टी का हसूल, सेल फोन की खरीदारी करना और हालात के मुवाफिक खुद को ढालना। आज ही HSBC बैंक अकाउंट तलाश करके शुरू कीजिए। HSBC बैंक यूके, मवाक़े की दुनिया खोलना। उम्र 18 साल या जायद हो और अहलियत का मयार लागू हो। HSBC यूके में आपको करंट अकाउंट स्विच गारंटी की हमायत हासिल है।
Revive FM.
94.0. On the radio
On your mobile.
and online.
Okay, and we're back to Revive Radio on 94.0 FM. Okay, for the second half, we've been chatting to Friends of Queen's Market about the Good Growth Fund, which was around £7.3 million that was allocated to Upton Park Queen's Market to develop it. For the second half, we're chatting with Imran. Hi, Imran.
Hello.
You see me a lot at the market this
Yes,
month.
Yes, I do.
And we want to know what is going on.
As Friends of Queen Markets had lots of talk with you, and they explain you too many things. For Market Trader Union, the view of Market Trader Union, we had a few meetings like in past 2 years with mayor and local government.
And you're head of the trade union as well, aren't
With
you?
the trade union. And then they had promised with us they're gonna in a market for market, like they're gonna spend some money for market, like lighting, flooring, and under electric cable, parking, everything, etc.
Oh wow, so lighting. That sounds like a good thing.
Yes, lighting. Lighting, they said they're going to improve the lighting. When before they start, they had a meeting with us and they showed us everything, how many lights they're going to install, what's the power of the lights. And after when they finished, we were surprised. Every trader was surprised because the market is very dark now. Before it was brighter than now. And they had promised with us the market will be 2 times brighter than now, which is totally false promise with us. They promised with us they're going to store 420 lights, and they only installed 97 lights.
Oh wow.
And then they took off all lights. The market is darker than before now, which is very scared for us and for customers. When it's dark, you know the area is not very good area. We go another issues there, like drugs issue there, homeless people there, and it's not safe market for customers. We had in a market every day, everyone's, I mean, if 100 customers come, so 5 of them, they lose their phones, they lose their bags. And I've seen in my eyes, they snatching the bags from customers. And there is too many problems in market, which is safety problem in market. Top of that, the market is darker. It means it's worse for customers and worse for us. So my point is this: why they make false promise with us before started work? They had different promises. Now it's a different. Everything is different. It's totally opposite. Like
the communication has changed after delivery.
Yes, that is. And the other problems they had promised with us, like they're gonna new floor, which is for market. They're gonna painting for market. They haven't done nothing. I think this is the worst. It's just waste of money. Before the work, market were better. No, its market is worse.
Which shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, it's totally opposite. We had meeting with the Good Growth head, which is Clive. He had too many false promises with us. No, they're saying they are waiting for the report for the market experts, the light experts, which is more than 2 months. We haven't got any report yet, and we're still waiting.
because for that we
So
done.
you're struggling with corresponding with them as
Yes,
well.
they're not doing any corresponding with us.
That's a big shame.
And,
I mean,
just
summer's
as a-
coming to an end as
Yes.
well. So as winter, it's
Yes.
going to get
That's
darker,
why
and it's going to affect business. I'm
Yes,
guessing.
that's why we worried. The winter is coming, and you know, in winter, 2 o'clock, 1:30 is dark. So we're gonna lose our business. This is our living,
which will affect Green Street as well.
Yes, and we are providing community cheaper fruit, cheaper vegetable. Even cloth is very cheap there. Textile is very cheap there. You get fish very cheap there, and I can bet everywhere in London you cannot compare those prices what is in the Queen's Market.
So you're concerned that like families that are obviously possibly struggling with the cost of living crisis might even be scared about their safety coming to the market in the winter because of changes that were supposed to level up the market, but have caused a bit more chaos.
Yes, I'll give you one example. After 4 o'clock, the fruit traders, they just put half price on the fruit. The bowl they sell all day £1, then they start selling 2 for £1. And believe it to me, that rush of people there, they come and get their food because they cannot afford.
I know it.
The
I'm one of
cost
them.
of living is very high. We cannot afford to pay the bills. Then people come in the Queen's Market and get their foods and feed their children. So that market is very important for the community, not even for local community. I've seen people come from the Kent, people come from the others like areas for just spend the money and get their foods cheap, the clothes cheap. Cloth over there is very cheap. If you compare to the high streets of Queen's Market, I think it's less than half price in Queen's Market. I mean, as a traders, we giving them too much facilities, and we not get even one facility from the council. As a trader, we don't have any parking. We don't have any facility in the market. Toilets, I think toilets, we lived without toilets like 2 years. They closed the toilets and we lived without the toilets. I mean, how can you go at work?
And you're not allowed to use the market office toilets.
We can, but we have to pay for it.
Right.
Which is unfair. As it did, I mean, I asked the question from them. I said, if you go in office, somewhere work, so the basic need, you need toilet, you need kitchen. We don't have any facilities there.
Yeah, I saw some of those issues with people trying to use the electricity and boil kettles outside. And I did ask, I said, can't you just use the market office? And I was surprised that, you know, considering it's so new as well, that the traders...
We cannot. I had
no access.
I had promised from Mayor of Newham. And personally, she promised with me in one meeting. I said to her, okay, if you cannot do a free parking, okay, fine, because they're saying they're making lots of money from the parking. It's not fair with us. It's not fair with customers. They're paying £3 an hour in a market.
When you're coming for bargains.
If you go in Redbridge, they give you 1 hour free, then you pay £1 extra hour if you want to stay there. It's just our neighborhood council. If they can provide 1 hour free parking, why they can't provide us as a Newham council? And she said, we'll look it. It's 3 years. And after that, I asked her, I said, listen, in this market, if you come and visit the market, you will see 90% old people, disabled people. They come in the market and they do their shoppings. When they come in the car, they don't know how to use the Android phones in these days. And they cannot put the tickets there because they don't know Euro's app. And if you call to the phone they provided on the boat, nobody pick up the phone. And they don't have no choice. Only they have two choices. Either they go back without any shopping, or either they come down and get 65-pound ticket.
So they've complicated something that should be really simple. And back to Sam's point earlier, considering we're spending so much money on consultations, these answers should be there.
Yes, they've done it. And I've seen, I mean, that's why we're losing business. And other thing, they spend lots of money on survey, as you said. Before lighting, they install the lighting. I've seen more than 100 different companies come with papers and pen and just making maps and everything, and they've gone. And I asked them, why what are you doing here? It's a survey. I mean, they spend more money on survey than actually work.
I think sometimes people at the market and consultations don't realize as well that, you know, people who work at the market are hard grafters. You know, Sam, you're a tradesman. They understand how much things cost.
Yes.
It's clearer to people who have done jobs similar, and you're all conversating and communicating with one another, and then not understanding why it costs sometimes twice, 3 times, 4 times as much as you would survey it.
I mean, this is totally unfair with traders. Totally unfair. This is our living, our business. We got children. We have to survive. We got our own costs. Rent is very high.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we don't have any facility. Top of that, we got no square there. We are not safe there. We always scared from the druggies. In market, too many times been stabbing. Like last year, someone stabbed in the market. So we all face those things, and nobody comes to help us. Nobody comes to talk with us. No council officers comes in the market. And if you park your car there, they come in 1 second and give you a ticket. But if you got problem, they don't come. If anything, they do come, but when you need them, they don't come in the market, which is problem. And because of that, that's why we're losing too much traders. We're losing too much business. We're losing too much customers. I mean, people don't want to come in the market. I mean, how, like you don't go nowhere. If you get some facility in market, you will come there. If you don't get facility in market, you're not gonna come. You're not gonna come there.
Of course not.
If you don't get parking, you're not gonna come there. If you don't get anything there, I mean, no place. If you sit there, have tea or coffee as a customer, like in a square, Queen Square, they spend money, which is, I think, this is waste of money. They make the space for the druggies. They sit there and they go shelter there. They sleep overnight there. And council don't come and remove them. If you throw anything there, they come and give you a ticket. But it's homeless people or druggies, they throw everything there. They don't say them anything. My point is that if in the square they spend, in Queen Square they spend £571,000.
Yeah.
Why they don't make any play area for children? If they make play area for children, then more customers come inside. Saturday, Sunday, children's off. People come, bring their children, they can play there and they can do shopping there.
Yeah,
so,
it seems like they haven't come and asked you that, because I'm sure loads of other traders as well as families would agree that like a children's play space would be a great idea.
Yes.
What else do you think is the overall problem here?
Communication, lack of.
Yes.
Yeah, I can tell, because Imran, you're touching on the fact that when there's a problem, they're nowhere to be found. But when it's time to charge people who are living in a cost of living crisis, it's quick.
Yes.
Yes, I think we're back again to lack of respect, you know. And I mean, our traders are vital because it's the personal touch. I mean, the guy at the bottom, I think he's another Imran. He keeps going with his cracks all day long. Unfortunately, they're all in Sylheti, so I can't follow him. But he has the customers in stitches. And, you know, I've heard Neil giving marriage guidance advice when he was in the market, along with the fruit and veg. But they don't appreciate the traders at all. I mean, before, when there weren't any toilets, as you said, there was never a question of them being allowed to use the market office toilets. Now they have to pay 20 pence. And of course, the disrespect extends to the public because there aren't any bins for women to put their hygiene products in the toilets. This is unbelievable. And they've raised the issue again and again. So, we ought to really value our traders, and the disrespect goes to the homeless too, because there is the Street Link team. You'd think that they would send a worker there. You know, there are some people who are happy to sleep in the market. They're a little bit of a group, but other people, you know, are really lost. They've lost their accommodation. But you'd think they'd put somebody proactive, send them down. The traders would be happy to see them housed, and I'm sure they'd be happy to go to a hostel or somewhere. But again, it's lack of respect.
Engage with them a little bit more.
I've also found out we did a police walk down Green Street and into the market. And I said to the police officers, look, they're looking at you as if you're like celebrities, which means that they've never seen you in the market before. And I remember growing up, there was always a police officer in the market. He'd sit there and have a cup of tea, have a chat, mate. So he knew everybody by name. So he built a relationship. The police officers do a grand job when they're there. And I speak to them, and they said that we know what we require, but we haven't got the manpower. And whatever we send upwards doesn't seem to be listened to because it doesn't come downwards. Right. And we have a problem with communication, and it's from all different directions. And the people who are actually they're there to serve, which is our traders, they're just getting the brunt of it all.
Well, hopefully that can improve. Onto the pigeon netting. So they've spent £116,000 on pigeon netting, but I was there the other day and I definitely got hit. So what do you think?
That's a waste of money. Pigeon is still there. I mean, I go my clothing store and I can provide you photos. I go every day 2 or 3 clothes full of with the poo, and I have to wash it or I have to throw it. And I lost everyday money.
Right, it's ruining stock.
Yes, I go in front of my stall. I can show you the floor full of shit of pigeons. So they're still there. It's just waste of money. I mean, I think before it was better than now. And then other problems. We got basic problem as a trader in the market. I mean, when you go for work, you should feel safe. You should have all facilities. We are a trader. We know begging them.
Yeah.
We're serving the community. We're paying the rent. We're paying the tax. We're doing everything as a normal workman does it. So we're doing everything, but we don't have any facility. Like, it's no signage. People come and ask me, what time is the market closed? What time is the market open? Which day is the market open? Which day is the market closed? There should be signage. There should be timing signage. There should be welcoming signage. There should be parking upstairs for Queen's Market. This is basic need for any workplace. We do not have any workplace. It's no signage. If you come in a Green Street, you don't know where is the Queen's Market. If you don't know, you cannot find the Queen Market unless you go down Google. So you cannot find the parking unless you go on the Google. So I mean, where's the signage? We keep asking them. I asked them simply, I said, we need signage. Just say Queen's Market look this way. Queen's Market opening 5 days a week. Queen's Market timing this. We go toilet facility inside. We go fish markets inside. We go fruit and veg stall inside. Need nothing. No publicity. That's why we losing business every day. Every day we're losing business. So
well, hopefully they're listening to you now, because I feel like I'm sure you've already spoke to them about these issues and tried to put forward all these causes.
I had 3 meetings personally with Mayor. And I spoke with her and I told her everything. Even written I gave it to her. We need these things more than 3 years. It's 4 promises. All 4 promises. It's like politicians' promises. That's it. This is not market. Is not politics. This is community market. This is our living. So they're playing with our livings. It's not only me. Like hundreds of traders there, with plus shopkeepers there, and one shop had 4 or 5 workers inside. Their families. If they close this market, it's going to affect thousands of families.
Thousands of families.
So where are they going to allocate those families?
Thousands of families, as well as everyone that shops on the high street as well. What else have you guys been doing to protest the changes?
Well,
what we don't like about them, basically.
We've had protests. We've done a few protests at the town halls, and we've done that. I mean, it hit the headlines wherever it could.
I saw it. Traders kept in the dark.
Traders kept in the dark. I mean, we do what we can, and each one of us always up as a Queen's Market as a sort of banner, really. But I've attended the council trades meetings, the traders meetings, the council ones run one, and even the traders that attend there say that they're not being facilitated, they're not being listened to. We're talking about the high street traders, that is. They're not being facilitated. If we could sue a landlord of a property, if the property is substandard, and the tenant's paying rent, we should be able to do the same, but we can't because we don't have the resources and the funds to show a structural, structure of a local governance. That's the problem. There is no equity. We don't have equity while there is this division, and they are not listening. They are applying their consultants in the wrong way, and they need to listen before it's too late.
And they've got plans to do some more changes as well. Sorry, Andrew, what you're about to say?
Well, the next improvement in quotes, they're saying they're doing canopies, but we and the traders are saying that they should stop before they do that. They've got to get the lighting sorted out.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And we've also touched on flooring. Having promised improved flooring, and other people have spoken about that already. You've got drainage and what have you, and you need flooring that's safe that people aren't going to fall over, trip over. That they now seem to have stopped talking about that. In fact, they've said to people that there may not be enough money for that. Well, how does this work? They're very good at spending too much on things that aren't an improvement, and then something they promised, it's suddenly going to be not going to happen. It's absolutely disgusting. I don't see a need for consultants at all. So they spent 685. I can't even read at the minute.
So almost
700,000 £700,000. Well, if they talk to the shoppers and traders and residents, you wouldn't need consultants. You just have people talking, collecting that, and then putting that into something and saying, this is what's come out of our discussions. Are you happy with this? Well, I'm sure the council would tell you, well, that's what consultants do. Well, patently, it's not what consultants do, because what consultants do, they've been told, we want to put luxury flats, a library, a health centre, blah, 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 in the market. Go and talk to people, persuade them all that this is a good idea and that it's compatible with having a market carrying on or a market suddenly coming back. That's what consultants do. It's like a mate of mine said, if you employ consultants, if a paper towel manufacturer employs consultants, they will find that paper towels are the best way to dry your hands. If a hand dryer firm employs them, they'll say, hand dryers are the best way to dry your hands. So that's how consultants work.
Right. So before moving forward on any more of the changes that have been not so great, you're pushing for a pause. Yeah. You want to allocate the money. You want any more improvements and updates to the markets for the consultants to consult you, basically, before moving forward, right?
That's why they never. And last meeting we had with the consult, which is Mr. Clive, and I asked him before to start the canopies, please show us. He said they have a 3D view for the canopies.
Yeah.
I asked him. I said, because this is for us, for traders, for markets, so they should concern with us. I asked him before the start, can you show us the 3D view? We want to see how it would look like, because we weren't happy for the lights. What you've done, we're not happy.
Right. So
we do not.
You just wanted to see.
Yeah, we don't want the same work there. Have you done in the market? And he had promised with me, yes, I'll show you before it starts. And after that, he's disappeared.
Right.
I haven't seen him after that. I tried to contact with him, but he's on holiday. And what they're doing, they start canopy from tomorrow, which is they start canopy.
Despite knowing that you pushing for a pause.
Yes, and they as inspector and manager of the market, they came and they allocate the traders who are under the canopies.
Yeah.
They already allocate them the different pitches. So they're gonna start from tomorrow, which is not fair. And we are scared. The work they done in the market is rubbish. And we don't want to spend money on canopies, which end of day is look like same like as they done with the market. So this is our concern. But as they said, they don't respect.
Yeah.
We don't get any respect from the market, from the local government or from local council.
Yeah.
They don't come and talk with us. I mean, this is like your house. You're living in one house and they come and build your house without your consent. How can it be possible?
It feels like where it should be a collaboration, a partnership, a co-create as it should be.
Yeah.
It seems like they're dictating what they think Upton Park residents need and want.
Yes.
And whilst the residents
loudly. The funny things, I said in a meeting, the people who deciding for us, they do not live in the area. They live in the posh areas. They don't know what problem we have. They're like a parking. They've done everywhere parking. They don't have any issue where they live. They don't have any issue with the parking because they go posh houses, big houses. They don't need parking. Here, we need parking and they give us problem because they don't live there. They don't. When you don't live here, you don't know the problem of the area.
Yeah.
We know we live in there and we know that what is the problem we're facing.
Yeah. And you speak up about it loudly.
Yes, I do. But they don't concern. They only, I don't know who's in charge of the program, who's spending this money. I think this is corruption. I said to them, in front of them, I said, this is corruption. Somebody eating money.
Yeah.
They're not spending money our own market. I mean, how can they spend? Just take off the old lights, temporary lights. For temporary lights, 116,000 pounds for temporary lights. Yeah. I can bet if they give me 30,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds, I can put more better than lights there.
I believe you, and I think that
they and removal of the pigeons and temporary lighting, removal, 116,000 pounds, and temporary light. They said they spend 84,000 pounds. If you come in a market, I will show you that small LED lights. I got for my stall, which is 27 pounds, and they go, I think 90 or 80 lights there. So if you multiply 27 to 98, how much is that?
I don't know.
it's no more than like 3,000-4,000 pounds.
We were speaking to one of the traders, and he spoke to one of the council officials about the lighting, and he said, he said it's worse, you've done this, and how many lights are there now? And the bloke he said, over 200.
No.
Well, he went round and counted it, and it was
97 lights.
So they don't even know.
Right.
Not only is it worse, but they don't even know how many new lights there are.
And they argue with us. They said this light is a level of highway code.
So the trust is eroding between you all, and they won't even, when you're asking for updates and you're asking for new information about what they're about to do, they're not willing to let you know.
Yeah, but there isn't any trust.
They go argument because
as well as take your complaints seriously.
Standard light of the highway code. This market is highway. I said, okay, if market is highway, on the highway code applies only without market hours.
Yeah.
Highway code don't apply between 6 to 6 when it's market operated. So why they applied highway code in the market? That's the argument they're doing there. They said that light is standard of the highway code.
Hopefully we can get to the bottom of this. Right.
Nothing, because it's no communication.
You would never get to the bottom.
I just sent them email. I just sent them email yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm sending everyday emails to the mayor of Newham, Clyde, councillors, everybody. Only they're saying, we are doing something, we'll get you back. That's it.
Right. Well, we have to go on another break now. But when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the positives about the market, what happens next, and what we love about it. Okay. Right.
The retreat will take place in Yarnfield Training and Conference Centre at Stoke-on-Trent. We are pleased to announce that we will be joined by Dr. Ghazala Hassan Qadri, President of Minhaj Women League UK, who will be our special guest for 3 days. Join us for an inspirational and fun-packed weekend. To find out more, please visit our website www.aldazkia.com.
Moving to the UK can be rather overwhelming, but moving your money doesn't have to be. With HSBC Global Money, you can convert, send, or spend multiple currencies around the world whenever you want with no HSBC fees. So you'll be right as rain, as they say in the UK. Search HSBC Global Money, HSBC UK, opening up a world of opportunity. Available to HSBC UK customers with an eligible current account and the mobile banking app. Non-HSBC fees may apply.
Revive FM.
94.0. On the radio
On your mobile.
and online.
£1 million that was allocated to Upton Park Queen's Market space. It was supposed to go in 4 directions: towards a creative wellbeing space, a Green Street workspace, and also towards updating and developing the market. We've been chatting with Imran, who is letting us know that some of the developments that have been made aren't helping, aren't improving, and are causing more issues for the traders rather than helping them. We've also got friends of Queen's Markets here who have been fighting for 20 years to make sure the market 21, sorry, to make sure the market stays where it is, and they defend the cultural legacy of the space. What I want to talk about now is, what do you love about the market? Because I feel like you all didn't know each other before getting involved in this campaign, and it's the market that brought you all together. It's what brought me to you. And what I've learned whilst making the film about the market is about just thinking about what the future looks like for me, because I want to be able to shop at the market as I get older. I want to be able to go and get affordable food. I want to be able to go and chat to people that I'm familiar with. And it scares me, this idea. I'm sure you all, when you go to supermarkets and stuff, like, I'm using self-checkout. It's very alienating. Mm-hmm. It's terrifying. The idea that, a robot's going to be serving me in 50 years, it doesn't fill me with warmth. Yeah. So what do we like about the space? Why is it so important to all of us?
Well, you touched on it. People are really important. There's a wide variety of people, both stall holders and all the different people who come to the market. So, Newham is a very diverse borough, and it sort of reflects that. And a lot of people come, Afro-Caribbean people, Asian people, East European people, all sorts of people. And as Imran was saying earlier, people come from Kent. Well, I've talked to people who come from the Midlands to come to the market, So people value it. It's really important that you've got these public spaces where you can get things that you want, cheap food, textiles, all these different things, but also that it's a public space that you share and you talk to people and you relax and you meet people. And a lot of those things are getting harder to do because a lot of public space is being privatized, and is sterile, as you say. You just go in and it's all about cars and people walking about shopping and not about people actually mixing. And that people mixing is really important. The council, we would put a lot of that call that culture. Now, the council's idea of culture seems to be every time there's a religious festival that reflects the diversity of the borough, they will celebrate that. Well, that's fine. But that is the beginning and the end of the council's definition of culture. Our idea of culture encompasses art and stuff, but it's also about all those different people mixing and sharing their different experiences, their different foods, their different music, all those different things in an ongoing way. That really is culture, and that is what they have no idea about, or I think, as my colleagues were saying, they have no respect for it. All they're really concerned about is money. And, if they manage these so-called improvements, they'll be making more money. There'll be all these people on more money who get luxury flats next to Upton Park Station so they can hop on the tube and go to their well-paid job, and everyone who's currently there on the shoppers and that, who cares about them?
And you've touched on a good point, which is culture. I think the thing that separates markets from places like supermarkets and places like Westfields, which we still all use, is that markets kind of allow you to meander a little bit more. You're not pressured to buy anything. It's about being in the space and kind of seeing if you're drawn to anything, as well as chatting to people as well. So I'm glad you touched on that, because our shopping habits have made us more isolated. And markets are starting to become one of the last public places, the last third spaces that are free to go to, that you can chat to people. And on a market like on Green Street, on a market like Green Street, which literally has a film made after it because it's such an iconic place, you would think that consultants would be asking, what has my Upton Park done right, rather than eroding on it and making things go wrong. Sam, what's your favorite thing about the market?
Well, like any community asset, I think it's actually fulfilled so many things. If people talk about a picture, if you ever want a picture on a winter's evening, you could see a picture. Stand away from it, you'll see colour, you'll see culture, you see the smells and sounds. You think you're abroad somewhere. It's everything's there. And the thing is, in the summer, it just comes to life as well. So when people talk about a market, it's just not a market. That's just one word, but it encompasses everything. It's a psychological issue. It's a point of place. Place gives people identity. Place gives people a belonging. Somebody could travel the world and they say, "Oh, do you know Queen's Market?" I've gone to places all around England, and I've met people from Newham, and they will talk about Rathbone Street Market or the East End in the Market. That's place. That's nostalgia. That's the sense of belonging, no matter where you go and who you are. You could take that with you around the world. And when we petitioned for 2 hours or 3 hours on a Saturday or a Sunday, I see all walks of people walk past me.
Yeah.
The conversations I've had, speaking to people from the Caribbean islands, their grandparents, their grandchildren, it's different parts of a family that used it. And some of them are still living there.
It's intergenerational. I mean, I know that's how I've come to it. Like my grandma shopped there, my mum shops there, and I've been feeling guilty that I don't shop there enough. Imran, what's your favorite thing about the market?
Everything is good in market. Like that's a community market, community mixture market. Every nationality you see in the market. When you see different nationality in the market, you learn more things about their nationality. And this, I think the market is important because you get everything there what you need, like cheap. You get cheap stuff there. Plus it's very lively market. You come there, you talk to the other people, different nationality, listen their problems, they listen your problems. It's like I've seen too many people, they have stress sitting in the home and they wait for the market. And they just come in the market, just to relieve their stress. And believe me, I've known too many customers, old ladies, old people, they said, we just came in market, we got blood pressure and we sit in a home, nothing to do it. So we can't afford anywhere. They just take bus, come in the market, have a round for 1 hour, cup of tea, cup of coffee, have some fruit, and believe me, they get better. It's better than to go to the GP and get medicine. They come in the market, relax, and just relieve their blood pressure. The market is very important.
Absolutely.
That is really, council should understand. Beautiful market, lovely customers there, they do come there. And traders, they are very lovely. We look after everyone in the market. And we want to keep this market as a lovely. We want more lively, we want more customer inside. The market is safe now. We're trying to save it. We help everyone. So please.
I think you've touched on a really important point there as well, that like just talking about people coming in for blood pressure and health issues.
Yes.
We're having a really big issues in this country with mental health services, GP services. It's all a bit up in the air. And the market kind of unofficially is providing this role. It was never supposed to provide it. So what will be lost when the market disappears isn't just affordable food and a creative space and somewhere to meander. Some people will slip through the cracks when the market is providing a space for them to kind of stay above water, sort out some of their issues in a pace that's comfortable for them. Stan, favorite things about the market?
Oh, that's hard because I'd say the fruit and vegetables, because there's fruit and vegetables there from all over the world. If you're from Africa, You can get your favorite fruit and veg. If you're from the Caribbean, if you're from Asia, you can get your. But I'll tell you, one thing I really like is the calf in the market, because the calf is run by a Bengali man who's come from Italy.
Okay.
So his coffee is really good, but he can make proper desi tea that Asian people drink.
Yeah.
So I recommend that calf very highly. And of course, the other thing I have to say is the cloth on the roll. A lot of people in Newham, maybe because of necessity, make their own clothes. The cloth you can get on a roll from the market, you can't get from anywhere. I've met people from all different boroughs who come to the market just to buy cloth on a roll.
I love what you said about the Bengali guys from Italy, because it just shows the fusion of the market, how like different cultures come together to create this whole new thing.
Yeah.
And when places like market disappear,
I mean,
where do we come together?
People in other countries, I don't know how, but people in other countries have heard about our market. I was there the one day and I met a couple there from Canada.
Oh yeah, I've got
And I said, you're on a holiday from Canada and you wanted to see Green Street, the market? And they said, yes. I couldn't believe it.
It's an iconic street.
You know, you've come on holiday from Canada and you want to see our market on Green Street.
I've seen customers, they come regularly, on a regular basis from Canada, and they come specially in a Queen's Market. So the market is lovely.
But the thing is, the right investment will provide. You could turn it into a Carnaby Street. It could be one of the Portobello places.
Definitely.
It has the potential, but the council cannot see beyond their nose.
Yeah, it definitely has the potential. I just guess
Massive
that
potential.
the counc's failing to see some of the purposes that we spoke about today. Pauline.
Let me come in. Yeah, what I like about the market, the food. I got 3 packets of strawberries, really sweet strawberries, you know, probably only picked about a week ago for £1. That's 750 grams. I mean, fantastic. I'm sure it did me good, and I certainly enjoyed them. I mean, yeah, the fruit and vegetables, you know.
£4 in Tesco's.
And
That's
it's fresh
it.
food.
That's
I mean,
it.
usually organic fresh food is always like up price. And I think that when they replace places like this, they tend to replace it with kind of like, you know, gentrified, sustainable. We're trying to do good for the environment. But the market is already doing that.
It's already doing it.
And you've got the personal touch too, because some days I'm on my own, so I just want to buy a small amount, you know, say 2 carrots. So I buy that. And sometimes they give me a third one, which embarrasses me because
that doesn't happen in Tesco.
Yeah, no, you don't get that. But you know, there's that friendliness. You know, obviously they thought, poor old thing, give her an extra carrot, which shows a kind heart. You know.
It shows that the people that shop at the market and that trade at the market, they care about each other.
Yes.
You know, I was chatting to Wesley, another trader at the market, and he was saying, you know, people forget their purses here, or sometimes I haven't got the money. And he's like, off you pop. I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
That relationship and that like cultural partnership is so important. And a lot gets lost when it disappears, not just like individually for all of us, but as a collective, like in Newham, we lose a lot when that goes away. Right. To end on things, Friends of Queen's Market, you've got your website, which is FoQM.com or .org.
www.friendsofqueensmarket, all one word.
Yeah.
.org.uk.
Right.
I hope.
And then next time we'll be talking about food, well-being and health, and just unraveling a little bit more of the cultural legacy of the market, as well as what health means in Newham and how we can be better at it.
And also, if you want to purchase T-shirts, we got T-shirts as well.
Merch. Go on the website.
Yes, just Google up Queen's Market. That's the easiest.
It's the first
Or
thing.
use any browser. We're not endorsing Google.
But also, more importantly, we need other people. We need other people on our journey to protect them. So everybody's welcome to join Friends of Queen's Market. Always welcome, any age, but just join. And, you know, let's make this as a collective march to protect the market.
They're a welcoming bunch, and they're always looking for new people with new ideas.
Absolutely.
And yeah, tune in next time. We're going to be speaking to people specifically about food, health, and well-being, and get to the bottom of some of that stuff too. Thank you all so much for listening. This has been Revive Radio.
Yay!
Yay!